Hi everyone, Esther here from IRHSP and Irresistibles. And I wanted to take a few minutes today to do a video for you in regards to our matte varnish and some of the posts that I've been reading in some of the groups, particularly some of the beginner groups, that have concern because they're using our matte varnish on the top of the heads where you're going to root, and they're experiencing that white flaking that comes from the needle when it punctures the vinyl. Now, I want to take a minute and just say that as long as I can remember painting, and I've been in this industry for a long time, it was always taught to me, and a lot of other artists, I'm sure, will attest to this, that you are not supposed to use any sort of varnish on the top of a baby's head or even in the eyebrow section of where you're gonna root, because varnish is hard. I've explained this many times. Varnish is hard, so that if you're gonna puncture it, it might crack or you might have issues with it. Now, that being said, there are many people, a lot of people, a good portion of our customers that do matte varnish the heads and they have no issues with cracking. So I'm thinking my usual response to someone that has concerns about this is, are you putting it on too thin? Are you putting it on too thick? Are you baking it long enough? Because there's no reason that even if you did use our matte varnish on the heads, unless it was put on in such a way that something is causing it to crack once a needle goes through it, it shouldn't crack. And that really bothered me when I was reading these things. So I thought I would show you on two different heads, two different vinyls. We have a Chinese vinyl head and we have a German vinyl head. They both have had a couple of washes so that there is paint already on the heads. And I decided that I'm going to show you how I matte my heads so that maybe you'll learn something or take something from it. And I want to show you also, after it is baked, how it works when I go to root one of the heads, or both of the heads. So that being said, this is our matte varnish. Most of the time, I literally take it right from the jar. I should stir it up. That's really the best way to get it to be a little bit more fluid. So you stir it up so you've got nice ability to be able to just glide it right on. And remember, the rule of thumb is less is more, and you definitely do not want to see any white showing on with any of our products before you're baking, after you finished prepping it. So here it is, the matte varnish. It can be a little thick sometimes, especially if it's been sitting in a cold room. Sometimes it takes a minute for it to warm up and really start behaving like it should. I'm just gonna put the matte on the heads, not on the whole baby at this point, just to give you an idea of what I have been experiencing. And I'm putting it on and dragging my brush so it's very, very, very thin. Purposely picked this little head because it was small. Okay, so now you can see there is absolutely no white showing. You can see my brush marks, which means it needs to be pounced. And I'm going to do that now. So that would be the traditional, normal way that I've always taught my students to put our matte varnish on. Then you're going to pounce it really, really well, like double pounce it, triple pounce it. Make sure that you're getting some of that wet looking area off, wet looking spots off. So you want it to almost glisten versus look wet. And remember, our products really never flash off. They will, appear a little bit drier, but they won't necessarily be completely dry before you put it in the oven, and it is perfectly fine. We have ingredients in there that prevent it from drying out, and it really helps with the elasticity of the paints and the mediums that we make. And I know it's hard to get used to that, and a lot of people are waiting sometimes, and then they realize, is this ever going to dry? And it really never dries. But anyway, so that's how a head should look. Let's see if I can figure out different lighting. Let's see if this will be better. Maybe if I change this one. It's a little bit warmer. It's darker. You can see that it's just got a kind of glisten to it. Okay, so I'm going to put that head aside. And that is ready for baking. So that was the German vinyl. Here's the Chinese vinyl. And what I'm going to do for this one is I am going to use the matte varnish, but I'm going to thin it out. This is something you can do when you're varnishing your heads, and maybe this will help with the cracking, but it really shouldn't even crack with just putting it on. So I put some solvent in. I use Gamsol and or Eco House. So basically it makes kind of like I didn't really put very much in there. I'm gonna do this a little bit more because I want you to see. Should have done it in a different color bowl, I suppose. But almost like a milky kind of like a consistency, maybe a little bit thicker. So anyway, when you go to brush it on, it should go on really fast and really easy. So yeah, it feels totally different than when you're using it just straight out of the jar. So there I go. I'm almost done with the head already because it went by really fast, because it's a little bit thinner of a consistency, but it will still dry matte. And I think that the rooting should not be a problem. So that's why I am doing this, and I'm gonna pounce this really well, and then I'm gonna go bake it. And once it's dry, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna root the heads a little bit. So you can see kind of the difference between where I pounced it and where I didn't. It's a little bit, doesn't look wet. It looks more like glistening. I'm trying to get it in the light so you can see it. I hope all of you are enjoying using the products. I know there's a lot of competition out there, and we really appreciate you guys sticking with us, and hopefully you're using ours and still enjoying it. And I also hope that you use some other products and you can work along with ours, or you got to do what's good for you. I'm not going to be one that says that our products are the end all and have to be the best and only the best and only ones you use, because when I developed these, again, for those of you who don't know, I purposely made them so they would blend with all the other paint systems that are out there. I wanted it to be easy, straight from the jar stuff. I wanted it to be non-toxic. That took a while. I wanted it to be steadfast and definitely light proof so that it wouldn't fade. And I think that the quality of our products have really helped with the ease of using the products as well as how they look in the end. So, okay. So now we got that guy, and it's more reflective, I think, than anything, but you can see that the whole head is primed. There's not any white. So I'm going to shut the video off now. I'm going to go bake these, and I'm going to be right back. Okay, we are back, and I've got my 2 baked heads with the Irresistibles Heat Set Matte Varnish. This one was painted on with just straight out of the jar and pounced, and it's got a nice matte look to it. You can see. Yeah, that might be better. Nice and matte. Okay, and no cracks. When we bend it, everything is fine. No problem. Okay, and then this one was painted with the matte varnish, and I had thinned it out with some Gamsol. And I meant to tell you guys, you can also thin it out with liquid thin, but I think for head purposes and rooting, it's probably best to go with a thinner, just in case the liquid thin's too thick and you're not exactly sure how to use it. This is safe, but you can see no cracks. It's very, very matte. No shine whatsoever. The only shine you might see is the reflection from this. But anyway, so I'm gonna show you what happens when I take a Heavenly Illusions needle. We sell these on our site. They're fantastic. This one's 42 gauge 3 barb, and this is probably the most popular needle out there. It picks up between 1 and 2 hairs and with each grab, and it's so nice. And as long as you're holding it properly, you should get a nice batch of hair. So I'm going to, normally I would have a rooting pillow and all that kind of fun stuff, but I'm just going to puncture a bunch of hair in here. Oops. So far, not one bit of white is coming. We'll keep going. See if I can get some kind of closer together. Okay, well, I think that's probably enough. Okay, so there's one head. So then I'm going to take the other head, and this is the Chinese vinyl, and I'm going to do the same thing with the bent needle. This is not a rooting demonstration, this is a paint demonstration, so just want to get a bunch of hair in there just so that we make sure that there is absolutely no white showing through after I puncture the head. And it looks perfect. No white. I'm going to get up here in another area. I'm not using the, I'll say, highest quality of mohair, so bear with me. It's a little frizzy. I didn't condition it, but let's try it in another area. Section here. Okay. So, there you have it. No white. No white. So that was the Chinese vinyl, and then here you have the German vinyl. No white, no cracking. So if any of you are having this issue with the white fleck coming through, I really hope that you'll contact me. I'm available on Messenger all the time, 24/7. Esther Orlando is how you can find me, or you can message me through our group, or you can send me an email at info@irresistibles.com, and I am happy to work through any issues that you might have, because I don't want you guys frustrated. I want you guys to be able to use our products and feel really good about it. And if you have an issue, don't hesitate to contact me, because there's always a fix. If you're at a point where you rooted a lot and you're noticing these white flecks coming through, here's a quick fix for you. You take a tiny bit of a mineral spirit or a solvent, and literally you just put it on your brush, and you brush the areas really, really well, and then you want to pounce it really, really well, even if there's mohair in there, and you bake it for like 3 or 4 minutes. It should remove most of the white. Anyway, that's my video. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope I answered some questions, and feel free again to email anytime. Thanks.